I should remain hopeful and I should look forward, not backward.
Expose this.
How can I live?
He lied.
I cried.
Genocide of the Uyghurs.
Am I misbehaving that much that you think I'll go to prison?
My name is Shayida. I'm currently living in Boston, Massachusetts, and working as a software engineer.
Thank you very much, Shayida, for joining us today. What's your life like growing up in China?
I have a lot of great memories of my childhood with my parents, my siblings, and a lot of relatives. We have a family tradition and we gather every Sunday to have some fun, to meet each other and to get out from all the stress from the school or work. From the time that I was a little kid till I go to school, I had all those beautiful memories. When I was going to high school, I have seen something that I couldn't believe in myself. Myself being punished by wearing a hijab, facing very injustice. I started to read some novels in my own language, and I started to have some interest in my religion and history and culture and all that. But in fact, in my real life, these things are started to being forbidden, and my father really wanted me to have a better education. That's why he helped me to move on and then go abroad.
So in some of our previous podcasts, we have talked about what is happening in Xinjiang, for example, the forced labour of Uyghur Muslims, the raping of women, and also children in education centres who are trying to be brainwashed by the government. Are there any particular stories that you've seen or heard which have highlighted to you the brutality of the Uyghur Muslims?
I have heard that people in those concentration camps, especially the one that's located in the place that I grew up, they have a huge labors on their hands for a very cheap price, and they could do whatever the work they want. I was terrified because people in there might be my friends, relatives, even my father. I don't know. And also I have a high school friend. By the end of 2017, I lost contact with her. She just told me that I might be in trouble, just don't worry about me, things like that. And then she disappeared for a couple months. Recently, I found the way to talk to my another high school best friend. She also knows that the girl that I was talking to, and she told me that she was in an education center because which means the concentration camp. She was graduated. From that conversation, I realized that she's also working at somewhere that's arranged by the government. The painful thing about her is she was about to get married after that summer trip, but unfortunately she was sent to the concentration camp. Her life and everything was totally destroyed.
That's terrible. It's really striking to hear these stories. Often on social media, you're appealing for your father. Could you tell me a bit more about him, and when was the last time you were able to speak to him?
My father, he's a really handsome man. He has a heart filled with kindness. He's the person who taught me to have the passion to life. He can be our friend sometimes. He can be a very serious man sometimes. I remembered every Sunday that we spent with him and our siblings. It was very joyful. Since May 2017, I heard that he's taken to the concentration camp, which the time that we lost the total contact with him. And I miss him a lot. I still wanted to talk about everything that's happening in my life with him. I couldn't do that anymore. He used to sit with me and talk about everything that I was confusing with. He used to show me the best way when I'm facing difficult times. He taught me how to be friend with books and how to get knowledge from them. And also, he always tells me that I should remain hopeful and I should look forward, not backward. This is also the words that he said to me when I'm leaving from the airport. And he like always, I'm when I'm having hard time right now, I think about those memories with him. I think about the words that he said to me when I was a kid. So that empowers me and encourages me to go on with my life right now.
And how many people in your family do you suspect are detained in China's camps at the moment?
Father, my uncle Sabir Ali, unfortunately, he was sentenced for 20 years of prison for no reason. And also, I have a 92 years of grand uncle. I don't know how is his condition, but my relatives was taking care of him at home. But I don't know how is his condition in those camps. I can't even imagine.
So even through all of this, you're talking about your best friends and your family. How do you remain hopeful and positive?
With no help and no words from the family, and that's very hard to leave. Hope is the only thing I have, and without it, I don't know how could we continue to live the life without our loved ones. Seeing the people around the world around me interested in what's happening to us, and I see them raising awareness, that gives me a lot of hopes, especially youth groups. It's really hard to keep everything going, suffering from those anxieties and the nightmares. It's very constant. It happens all the time. The hope is the only thing.
The new Disney's Mulan was partly shot in Xinjiang, and there are suspicions as to the agreements that Disney had to make with the country in order to film in a place where the mass genocide of Uyghurs and Turks is going on. Now, this is not the first time where Disney has supported racist actions or institutions. So, what are your opinions about the new Mulan movie, and do you feel it's deserving of a boycott?
Disney is my favorite. When I saw that movie was shoot in the place that my brothers and sisters were facing all these injustice, were being tortured, were being forced labors, I was totally disappointed. And also at the end of the movie, Disney was thankful to the authority and the police in that region who doing all that to my people. That was a huge disappointment. This doesn't look good for Disney. It totally means like Disney, it's destroying its reputation by doing this. People who understand this will also feel the same with me, no matter how much they love Disney. So I think it deserves a boycott.
Other than boycotting institutions such as Disney and also fast fashion, what would be your ultimate advice for our listeners to play their part in changing the situation?
Raise awareness to the situation, spread the news, or writing letters to those your government officials to help this crisis, help Uyghurs to be free. We can organize more events to listen to those stories about Uyghurs. They are not just numbers, they are people. Support the projects that are working for the Uyghur human rights.
Finally, what are your hopes for your future?
Actually, I am afraid to think about the future. I hope there will be a bigger pressure, bigger power that could stop China. Only then I could think about a better future. If things goes in that way, I really hope that I could see myself with my family back home or here, but whenever the way possible, I hope to see them free, living their life by their own.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Shayida.
Thank you.
For more information on the Uyghur genocide, please subscribe to our YouTube so that you can be notified when more podcasts come out on the situation in China. You can also watch some of our previous podcasts on Spotify or YouTube or Instagram to hear some first-hand accounts from some other fascinating guests. Thank you for listening.